Oh, Alexandra Barcone.
That's ABC.
Well, that's who it is.
Oh,
No, Barack. Barack.
oh, probably Barack.
BBC with Barack Bar Cohen.
Yeah, let them in. Joel?
Got it.
Okay.
I still don't know who iPad is.
All right, Martha had asked me also to send her the Zoom info.
I just sent it to her. Yeah.
It's
I
Martha.
did too.
Martha, you here?
I see.
Okay, she's there. All right.
Oh, Joe Strauss.
Hi, Judy Leopold. Hi, Polly.
Hi, great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again, too.
I'm a repeat customer,
Yes.
a very satisfied customer.
Okay. It's good. So how many do we have? We have
So Sally
29
just
so far.
disappeared,
That's good.
went
And
off screen.
28.
Hey, Sal.
Hey,
hi, Sally.
hey.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi, Mindy.
Hey, do we get to see you?
Hi, Corey.
Whose name is iPhone?
I think that's Ross, actually.
With the hat on?
It's
Doesn't
got
look
a
like
name.
Russ.
Doesn't look like Ross.
No, that person
It's
needs to have a
Leslie.
name or they shouldn't be in here.
Who is that? Joel?
Joel,
I thought somebody identified them.
no. And there's no, he needs to come out or identify himself.
Who is iPhone? What's your name?
Well, I think, is Ross iPhone?
Yeah, I thought Ross was iPhone.
That's not Ross.
There's
I switched
Yes,
my
Yeah,
iPad.
that's
it is Ross. It's
When they're
Ross.
doing it, I'll
It
do
is
Ross
Ross.
in San Francisco now, it seems.
Is that Ross?
No, well, that's his background. That is Ross.
That's
Yeah, no,
Ross.
obviously it's the back.
Leslie, is that Ross?
Yes.
Oh, oh,
Yes, it
now-
must be.
Okay.
That better? I'm
Yeah.
muted.
He muted himself.
Ross, we didn't recognize you.
Are we okay with iPhone?
No,
Better?
Yes, we're okay with iPhone.
I am not okay. I want
It's
to.
That's
Ross.
Ross?
It's
It's Ross Wishner.
My head.
Sally, we can see him. It's Ross Wishnick.
Okay.
There's an iPhone connection on my email. There's an iPhone connection
I don't know what that means.
from you, Lynn.
Okay, do you think we should start?
Yes.
How many
Okay,
people? We have 29 participants.
706.
What are we supposed to have, Lynn?
I can't tell you. I
Okay.
have to count them all up again, and some people canceled at the last minute and some people came on board, so
All right, well, we've got 29 on now.
that's about what we should have.
Oh, look who's there.
Oh,
So
because the
I'm
two
gonna start.
of us in the same room. Want me to go to the phone?
Okay, so
You're starting?
Leah.
I'm gonna start and then I'll turn it over to you, okay?
Okay.
All right, so Joel, you wanna mute everybody?
How do I see the
Hi,
Except for me.
Sophia.
Pour a glass of wine, put it on this side here.
Okay, so welcome everybody to the second cooking demonstration for the TJC chefs, or however one would say it. And we're really happy that you're all joining us. We had a great event last time with Mindy Langer, making her beer bread. And as you may have noticed, that recipe appeared in the New York Times the following day, so we're very avant-garde here. And I wanted to just say a few words. We're working on planning summer programming for the Arts and Culture Committee. We are, we could be doing some cooking, but that's not really our main focus right now. We have been thinking about some other things to do. So one of the things that we would, I'd like to ask you is if you have any ideas for us of people who might want to do some kind of a presentation or half-hour session about something that they're very interested in or involved with, possibly as a hobby. For example, Barbara Gantwork makes dolls, and she is going to do one of the presentations. It's going to be on her journey as a doll maker, meaning how she got involved in it, what she does, how she does it. It's not going to be a workshop for people to learn how to do it. That's not what the purpose is. The purpose is just to introduce a new idea of some kind of a hobby or some kind of an interest and how somebody got there. So if you know somebody that you think would make an interesting presentation, you can let me know. And, or if you don't have my email, you can email somebody else, maybe at the Jewish Center office, and they'll send it to me. And we will be happy to try to line up a few people to do some of these events. We have some good things lined up for the summer so far, but we're always looking for new ideas. So thank you so much for any help you can give us there. And I'm going to turn it over to Arlene Opetut, who is going to be the Sue hostess with the mostess.
Again to this episode of Cooking with Andrea. You should have all gotten the recipe at this point for tonight's extravaganza. First, I'd like to give a couple of thank yous. Lynn, for putting all of this together. Thank you. Joel, for organizing the whole Zoom setup. Andrea, of course, for tonight's dining experience. Andrea's son, Noah, where are you? Somewhere here? For tech support. And Shauna for her sous chefing on the whole thing. We also have a behind the scenes photographer, Renee Albulario. You'll be able to see her work in the next newsletter. Okay, I have a couple of instructions for everybody. I think Joel has muted everyone. So please keep yourselves muted for the moment. Then it might be better for you if you put this on speaker view, which is in the top right corner. That way you'll see Andrea as the main event here rather than the gallery view of everybody. Now on the bottom, there's the chat section. If you have any questions, please write them in the chat and I will be asking Andrea those questions along the way as she's going through the cooking. So with that, I give you Andrea.
Thank you. Arlene, can we get a show of hands as to how many people are cooking along with me tonight? I just want to be able to pace it appropriately.
Okay, show of hands here. I see 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wow. Fantastic.
What else? 6, 7. I see about 8 people or so.
Okay, that's really good. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for joining me. This is wonderful. So the instructions were to drain the ricotta cheese. Yes. Is a little feedback here or something? No? I'm hearing, what's going on?
Can everyone please mute, please?
Yeah. Okay. So the ricotta cheese has been draining and that goes right into the bowl. And with that, you add the 3 egg yolks. And I'm presuming that everybody has their ricotta cheese already drained because that takes the longest of everything, really. Okay, so you add the egg yolks to the ricotta cheese and you combine it.
No.
Okay. Takes a few seconds to mix it together. Just until you really don't see the bright yellow in the ricotta cheese anymore. Okay. And then you add, I don't know if your flour is already scooped or not. If it's not, it's best, and this is how I did it. Show it over here. I like to, particularly for this recipe, I like to just pour it into the cup and then level it off with a knife, which is what I did with this, because it aerates a little bit and it's lighter and it turns out to be less flour, which is actually what you want. So I'm adding the flour to it. I'm adding the 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, but Joel, Marcy Mexler is trying to get in.
I only see the name iPad. Is that her?
It's on AB or Lauren.
The only person waiting is someone named iPad at this point.
Well, I don't know.
Hi, I got in on a different computer, so don't worry about the other one. Thank you.
Okay.
There's a question about low-fat
Yeah,
ricotta and margarine instead of butter.
Okay, so
The question is, can you use low-fat ricotta and you can use margarine instead of butter?
I think a whole milk ricotta cheese is better. I think probably the part skim would work, but I prefer I think the outcome would be better with the full fat ricotta cheese.
What about margarine?
And well, the margarine, if you want to make the butter sage sauce, make it with margarine. Absolutely. That's an easy swap. If you're, look, butter is butter, but if you, for some reason, don't want to use butter and you want to use, plant butter or margarine, it'll work fine. Probably you could even use olive oil. So now I'm mixing the remaining ingredients, the salt, the pepper. I added the flour and I added the Parmesan cheese. And Shauna, would you please just take that white flour scoop, and just sprinkle a little flour on the board here for me, right here. Shauna's very delicate. That's fine. That's fine. I may need a little more. Okay. So now I'm going to just take out as much as I can. The stickiness of the dough will depend upon how big your eggs were. The egg yolks might be larger than another egg yolk, or if it's humid outside, I'm just going to put this here. If it's humid outside, you might end up with a stickier dough. There's variables. Use flour, and that will make it more manageable, but use it judiciously, because if you use too much, the ricotta is going to be, the gnocchis are going to be too hard. They're not going to be light and fluffy enough. So you basically just spread it out into a disc like this. Is everyone keeping up with me who is cooking along? Yes. Arlene?
I'm not getting a real show of hands here. Wait, let me get it onto gallery view. Is everybody keeping up? Let's see. It looks like they're doing okay.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so now you take a bench scraper, a knife, whatever you have, and you cut it into 8 wedges.
How big is your disc? This is Roberta.
Okay, so my disc is 6. My disc is 10 inches in circumference.
No, in
But
circumference, in
really,
diameter.
Roberta?
Yeah.
What you really want is just 1/8 of the dough. So it doesn't really matter. So you want it in 8ths, because each 1/8. Do you need a few more minutes?
Nope. I think I'm good.
So each 1/8 is going to be made into a roll that is about 3/4 of an inch wide, like just like this. So this is about, this is 6, it's about 11 inches, I'd say. Okay? Following? Everybody following? Okay.
Hands up to see if you're following, if you're okay.
Okay. So Shauna, if you would bring over that cookie sheet, and what I'm going to do is I am just going to cut just like this. Okay, and then we're going to put these little gnocchis on the cookie sheet that is lined with flour. And since I have a wonderful assistant, she's going to do this for me. I'll try to allow time for everybody else to sort of catch up, but it goes very, very quickly. As you can see, this is pretty fast. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you freeze these, and would you freeze them after they're cooked?
I would freeze them after they're cooked, yes. Because because of the uncooked eggs, I think it would not, in the ricotta, I don't think that's a good thing. I think you cook them and then drain them and then maybe lay them flat on a cookie sheet in the freezer and then put them in a Ziploc bag.
Okay, I just have to interrupt 1 second. Fran, please put yourself on mute. We're hearing a football game or something.
Slow down.
What's,
Slow down.
Oh, slow down.
I think people are trying to catch up.
Yeah, we want everybody to catch up here. Everybody's good?
I think you've got to give it another minute, Andrea.
All right, that's fine.
Are the gnocchis about 1 inch each?
Well, I have a little handy, yeah, I would say that's about right. Yep. You should end up with somewhere around 70 gnocchis. So the math doesn't work out that well. 8 times 8 is 64, maybe 72, something like that. Somewhere in that range, depending upon how big you make them. It's important to make them a consistent size because then they cook evenly and they just look nice that way. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay. You know, the truth is that each of these eighths isn't exactly the same, but it doesn't really matter because, again, it's really the width that you're concerned about, not the length. So, okay, keep going with this. And if you feel it's a little sticky when you're rolling it out, just add, if there's a little extra flour on the bench here, you can just add it. It's a very forgiving recipe, but you don't want to use as little flour as you can, as much as you need to make it workable for you. Okay. Do your room, Shauna? You may have to just kind of, yeah, make room. Okay, I'm going on to the last eighth here. Do I need to slow down? How are we doing?
How's everybody doing here?
Slow down just a bit.
Okay, this is my last 8th.
Andrea, it's Judy. Can you tell us how you drain the ricotta?
Yeah, so the instructions are in the recipe. And what I like to do is take a dish and I take about 3 sheets of paper towel. And then I lay the ricotta on the paper towel. And then I put about 3 more sheets on top of that. And you just press it down and the paper just starts to absorb it very, very quickly. And you can do that maybe 10 minutes before you start, Judy.
It seems like some people are still catching up, so let me do another question.
Okay.
Usually gnocchi are made with potatoes. Why are these different?
Well, they're made with ricotta cheese. It's a different, they're not potato gnocchi, they're ricotta gnocchi. It's a totally different technique, and I actually prefer them to potato. But some people love potato gnocchis. And this is way less labor intense than potato gnocchis are, I think. And hopefully they won't. They have not fallen apart in the water, and sometimes potato gnocchis do that. Okay. Do people need more time?
Yeah, I think you have a few people who are catching up.
Yes.
Okay.
I see some people who are sort of furiously rolling.
Yes. That's fine. So this is, thank you, Shauna, they're beautiful. They're like little pillows.
So how long is each one? Are they about 1 inch long?
It's about 1 inch. I would say they're, I'd say they're almost like 1 inch by 1 inch.
How many people would that serve, Andrea?
Okay, so that's a great question. I would say if this was a side dish, probably 4 to 5 people. Maybe, well, no, maybe more like 3 to 4. I mean, they're very light and they're easy to eat. And I would probably make this for 3 people as a side dish just to have enough. I would double it if you had 6 people. If it's a main course, I don't know, 2 people maybe, something like that.
What do you serve it with when you make it as a side dish?
So, well, I would, you could do fish, obviously I'm kosher, so I couldn't do meat or poultry with this, but you could do fish. Shauna and my son Aaron are vegetarian. They have it with, some roasted vegetables and a salad, and there is protein in the gnocchi, there's egg and there's ricotta, so I feel like that's good. At least they get the protein. And sometimes I do a marinara sauce. I'm doing the butter sage tonight. You could do a mushroom sauce with thyme. You could do a pesto. You could just do butter and parm.
Sounds good.
It looks like we have some young chefs catching up.
Okay, that's fine.
Say no, say no. Good, you want to say something more?
We're trying to catch up, but we're almost there.
Somebody's grandchild.
You're doing a great job there.
What kind of
wine you would drink with this?
What kind of wine? Well, I think if you're having, I would do like a nice crisp white wine with this, right? Aaron, you're my onophile. What? A nice, a Pinot Grigio. A Pinot Grigio would be nice.
Sparkling.
Something sparkling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a Prosecco.
Prosecco is nice, especially, in the warmer months. I happen to really like Pinot Grigio.
Not Manischewitz?
I'm thinking light. I'm thinking light.
Okay.
Are we good?
I think everyone's caught up.
Okay, so excuse my back for a moment. All right, we're gonna get the water boiling here at a full boil. So I did not use a huge stock pot. So what I'm gonna do is boil maybe a dozen at a time. They boil very quickly. As soon as they start to rise to the top, you take them out and you put them into a strainer. So I think we're gonna just leave this over here. Can you follow me, Alex?
If the water is boiling too quickly, will they fall apart?
No.
No.
No, God willing, that won't happen tonight. It hasn't. Okay, yeah. But, you know, this is not prime time. I'm not getting a contract from this, so I'm not going to sweat it. Okay, so I am going to put the gnocchi in here. And as soon as they start rising, that's an indication that it's done, because it's going to cook again. You know, when it goes into a sauce, it's going to be heated. So let's just give it a couple of seconds. There we go. We just got our first customer here. That's it. That's how it comes out. And some will take a little longer. Some might be denser. Maybe it wasn't mixed exactly the same. Some are slightly different sizes. So, but it's approximately the same. Some I threw in a few seconds after the others. But that's why it's important to try to make them as consistent in size as possible. Okay, so let's do that. Okay. If you had a large stock pot, I just don't really bother with it. This seems to work out fine because it cooks so fast. You could probably throw most of them in at the same time.
All right, in the meantime, Ellen is asking, are they supposed to be staying on the top?
Not really. They're not going to totally stay on the top. It's a great question. They just, when you see them just underneath the surface of the water, that's when I take them out. Because I don't know that they have enough. I think they have too much heft to really stay at the top of the pot.
And also, Andrea, if you put too many of them, will they stick together?
Well, they haven't. So I'm pretty careful about how many I put in at one time. They're not supposed to stick together. They're not sticking together here. Whoops, one got away from me. Okay. See, these are coming out now. The rest are taking a couple more minutes. There we go.
Would you ever use cornmeal instead of flour?
No.
Okay.
I think that would probably be too heavy, no?
No,
I'm not talking about in the recipe, but just as far as putting them on the floured cookie tray.
Oh, that, I don't know. That's interesting. You mean to crust up, Judy?
Well, just a lot of times you see cornmeal used to dust,
well, dough,
like the bottom of bread.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know.
I think it would get soggy.
Okay.
I think, you know, I haven't tried like roasting these, you know, on a cookie sheet in the oven to, you know, to kind of finish them in something. I don't know if you coated them with cornmeal, if they would get crunchy. I don't know. It's a good question. Is everyone keeping up? Am I going to, well, I can hold, I'll finish boiling these and then I can hold off. Okay.
So they really only get boiled for a few seconds, like 10, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I think maybe 20, yeah. Okay. And I think this will be my last batch going in. Just a little water on the pan, so it's getting a little gummy. These are the last. We'll just take those out. Okay. Just gonna leave those in.
I'm loving watching the activity of the other chefs that are going along with you, that are cooking with you.
Oh, I hope I can get that and watch it when it's taped. Will Renee be able to do that? Lynn? Okay. All right. This is the last.
Lynn, unmute yourself. You can answer.
Renee, would you be able to do that? She must be muted.
Okay.
Yes.
It may only show the
I'd
speaker
love
view.
to see the cooks. That would be so much fun. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay.
Are you making these for your dinner tonight, Andrea?
Yes, I have 3 hungry kids here. So this, you asked how many can it feed. I think they'll polish off all 70 without a problem. I have a feeling. Okay, so that is, whoops, one got left in there. Okay, we're done with that part of it. What time is it now? Yeah? Okay, I'm just gonna rinse my hands. Okay, should I wait a bit?
Okay, one question, Andrea. What is the name of the sieve that you were using to remove the gnocchi from the water?
I'm sorry.
The name of the scoop that you were using.
Oh, the spider? This is a Helen Chen. It's really a wok spider.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right.
Yeah, but it works great for pasta. Yeah, it's Helen Chen, but all you put in is, I would put in like kitchen spider and it'll come up.
Bed Bath would probably be the easiest place to get it.
Yeah. So I had, here it is. I'm just gonna rinse this off now.
Are you going to use sweet butter or salted butter?
I actually use sweet butter. That way you can control, and of course when I boiled it, I didn't remind everyone, but it's in the recipe that I added salt to that. I like to sort of control the salt better, so I tend to use unsalted butter for this kind of thing. And then because I'm going to add Parmesan cheese and so forth, that has salt in it. So I use sweet.
Okay.
And I actually brown the butter ahead of time. So you can see there's like it's almost like a little sediment in there. It separates out. But that's like the browning, and it gets like a nutty kind of a smell. And then I'm not going to put all of them in because not everyone here is going to want the sage sauce. But when you put it in, they kind of brown up in the butter. They do brown a bit. You can just leave them.
So, Andrea, are they actually fine to eat as they are before you put them in the butter sauce?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they're cooked. And that's why they're cooked just right, I think, when they come out of the water, that they can take a little heating, in a sauce.
Now, Andrea, can you put a larger quantity in the butter sauce?
Yes.
Okay, just obviously no crowd them, I assume.
Is that Judy Levine?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Judy.
Or otherwise known as Judy's iPhone.
Yes, you can put the whole quantity, but as I said, not everyone here loves sage. So for the sake of my family, I'm leaving some of them out of the sage butter sauce.
Ah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. And you don't want to let them sit in the colander too long because then they could get a little mushy. So you can transfer them back to a plate. I think I'm gonna do.
Are there any other suggested herbs you would use on there?
So you could do really any herb. I think that basil is, like, if I was doing basil, I would do a pesto altogether with it. I think when you start with a soft herb in this kind of thing, it doesn't really hold up that well. You know, rosemary would work, thyme would work. But this, the softer herbs, I probably would do it a little differently. I don't know that it would do that well in this.
It's going to be really good in it with a tomato sauce also.
A tomato sauce is great with this, yes.
How long do you keep it in that pan?
Well, as long as you want. I mean, this is for demonstration purposes. I mean, I was going to just plate this and show you how it looks plated. If you want, are we up to that yet?
Well, how do you know if it's done?
It's done because it's done when it comes out of the pot. And then really, you're just coating it. You're kind of heating it through in the sauce, and you're just letting the gnocchi absorb some of the butter and sage. That's all.
So once it starts crusting up, you're really past done at that point.
Yeah, it gets brown. It gets like a brown color to it. But if I could just leave it like this for an hour, and that would be fine.
It does look good.
Okay, and then I have, so yeah, the way I would serve it is, I take some like this, take a little extra butter, hit it with some extra Parmesan, and some people like chopped walnuts on it. That's kind of very Italian, to put some nuts on it.
Yeah, another question is, should I try to dry the gnocchi off before I put it in the butter?
No, I don't think so.
It's in the
Because you know what? They're, as they stand, they're kind of drying, That's why I'm saying put them in a colander, and then you could put them even back on, not a floured cookie sheet, but a cookie sheet. And they retain their shape, and they're drier now. So that's how it looks.
I have to tell you, it looks fabulous.
If it wasn't, this lockdown thing, I'd invite everybody over.
Don't worry. After the lockdown, we're all coming over.
How did all the other chefs do with their dinners?
How are they doing?
Doing great.
I see Renee with thumbs up with actually gnocchi in her hand.
Who has the gnocchi in her hand?
Renee.
Oh, wow.
Roberta, how is yours?
They're delicious with nothing on them. I've had 2 already. My butter is going, but I don't have sage leaves, but I have sage powder. Should I?
I don't think so. I would just go with the butter and the
Parmesan.
Yeah, Louise Sandberg let me know that the Jewish Center garden has sage, and that everyone should avail themselves of it if they want to make this.
Alexandra, how did yours come out?
It came out really good, and I wanted to let you know that I didn't have any ricotta cheese, so I used half cottage cheese and half tofu, and I think it's still okay. It's not going to be perfect, but it's
wow.
decent.
So did you drain the cottage cheese?
I did. Yeah.
Wow. Is it like a small curd cottage cheese?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can look in the container, but I think it was small curd. But
Good for you. Fantastic.
I wasn't gonna miss the cooking demo, so try.
Fantastic.
Okay, so I see Ellen Goodman wrote that she tasted one before the sauce. I have to tell you, Ellen, one wouldn't do it for me. I would keep on eating it. So I'm not sure how much would actually get into the sauce. Okay, and using cilantro because you don't happen to like sage, so all right.
I could have used cilantro. I have that.
Yeah, if you want to use basil, honestly, I would just take some olive oil and maybe just heat that up and throw the basil in it. For some reason, the butter and the basil doesn't seem like it's going to work to me. But you know what? Whatever floats your boat. Everybody has their own, taste.
Well, no, the thing with the basil is you can't let it cook for that long.
What do you mean?
Basil doesn't cook well in just butter.
No, it doesn't. It really should be thrown in at the very last minute because the oils just explode like very fast, and you should take it off the heat pretty quickly.
That looks amazing.
Yeah, looks great. Yum,
Yeah.
yum.
Thank you.
I finally finished boiling all of mine.
I think that's great that you cooked along. That makes me feel good.
Well, that's great.
Wonderful.
I questioned if that would work, but you know what? That worked very well.
Thank you so much, Andrea.
You're very welcome.
It's
I
so
have a
nice to
wonderful
see
day.
everybody.
Thank you. This is wonderful. Now my husband, it's too bad we can't all just sit together and eat our.
And open a bottle of Pinot Grigio, right?
When this is over, we can all do that together.
I think we should do that.
With all of that in Julia Child's words. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. Thank you. Thank you for
you,
tuning in.
Andrea.
Thank you, Andrea. That was great.
How much Parmesan did you put in the butter, or did you just sprinkle it on the?
I usually do it on the individual plates. Not everybody wants Parmesan.
Okay.
So you just do a little shower of Parmesan.
Okay. Thank you so much. This was
Thank you.
wonderful. And it's always great seeing all of you.
That was terrific. Thank you so much.
Bye, Andrea. Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone.
I want to just say one thing. If you
Bye.
want,
Enjoy your dinner.
if you want to sign up for the one on Thursday afternoon, please, and you haven't already, please get to me as early as you can because I got some very last minute things here and then I can't watch it for you as well. So send it early, okay?
Will we be getting the recipe for the next one?
Yeah, when? I don't know. I will get it as soon as I can.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Stay healthy.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.